it's unusual for a person necessarily to, in my opinion at least, to let what they're feeling inside be so freely out there. And so what you're trying to do when you create a scene is you're trying to create a puzzle, in a sense, that you let the audience have the fun of solving. So you don't want to just give them the answer. You don't want to just give them what you're feeling. You're trying to hook them. You know, like you're going fishing and trying to hook a fish. Well, you're trying to hook their attention. And if you just give them what you're feeling, you're just sort of giving them the answer. So there's nothing to wonder about. So I do feel like, on the one hand, your victory today was what you were feeling was what I think she was feeling. But I also think you might want to have a little bit more fun with the mask that she wears and the side of her that is what she would show him.
Right.
You know, on the inside, she's got that side of like, oh my God, my life sucks. I can't take it. My God, I'm so fucking tired of this marriage. What am I going to do with my life? You're driving me crazy. La, 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 la. I just want to go to sleep. I'm so depressed. But on the outside, I want to see somebody who's like, I'm fine. What? You know, what exactly is it today, 𝗔𝗓𝘂𝘁? What is it? You know, and then the audience gets to have the fun of solving your brain. You follow me?
Absolutely.
So it's sort of like what you did for me last night when we talked about it, and then you kind of showed me this character that you created. You know, and I liked here's what I like. I liked both. I like what you did today, and I like what you did last night, but I want you to take what you did today and put it into that character. So that character now has a soul.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
So, and then I want to talk to you just briefly. Did you get the book, by the way? You need to read the foreword and definitely read the chapters. What am I thinking and what am I feeling?
Okay.
Because that's a lot of what we're going to be talking about in the beginning of this journey is emotion and objective and how we evoke these things in our body and how we pick these things. So when we think about our objective and our emotion, we're thinking, okay, well, what we talked about what the point of the scene was last night. So we need to think a little bit about, in order to accomplish that point of the scene, what emotion would she be feeling in the scene to sort of give us that vibe? So if you could describe to me what you think the emotion was that you were playing today when I saw it, can you tell me? Because to me, I felt like there was this sort of almost hopelessness or despair or desperation. There was this sort of tired, what would you call it?
Yeah, it was, I know that the note yesterday was like the disbelief,
Oh,
you know.
disbelief also, yep.
And I was like, what does even disbelief look like? And so that's when I was like, well, she's high, or I'm high. And so I would think that I was smoking weed is how I played it. Like the idea that I'm like smoking weed and I'm just trying to escape my life.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So I'm okay with disbelief. I think disbelief will work very well. But that didn't feel necessarily to me like what I was getting from you.
Yeah.
You know, on paper it sounds good, but you have to, you know, obviously do it.
Right.
So we got to get your body familiar with the disbelief. So that's number one. And then number two, did we talk about your objective and what it could be?
We did talk about the objective and
to relax, I think, right?
In class.
And last night, I think, didn't we say your objective was to relax?
Yeah, it was to relax. It was like, just leave me alone. Like, don't penetrate my aura, kind of.
Yeah. So sometimes we'll throw out an objective and emotion. It sounds great until we actually do it. And then we'll be like, well, maybe this will work better. So what would happen, like, for example, if we use the objective to make sense of this? I'm trying to make sense of 𝗔𝗓𝘂𝘁. I'm trying to make sense of him, me, my life, everything.
Yeah, that definitely feels more like an alignment with everything.
Cool. So what I want to, we're gonna work on objective today, and all I want you to do. So you got that list of the questions, and it says in that list, it says run the scene 2 to 3 times with the objective. So what I want to do is work a little bit of the scene real quick with you playing your objective consciously, and then playing it by just listening and trusting that your brain is playing the objective without thinking the words, okay? So what I mean by that is Right now I'm teaching you, but I'm not thinking to teach you, I'm just doing it. In order to tell the story of the teacher and the student, first I need to iron my objective, in a sense, into my brain. So that would be the preparation part, where it's going to feel forced, pushing. It's not going to feel honest. It's not going to feel real. It's sort of like learning the notes on a guitar. You know, have you ever played music?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What did you play?
Flute and trumpet and a little bit of piano, but not much.
What was the one that you were the most proficient at?
Trumpet.
But you played the flute.
Yeah, I played
you'll have,
flute pretty well too. Yeah.
oh, well, you'll have to do a scene with Greg, because he was a professional flautist.
Oh,
So.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
On now.
So when you are playing the flute, you have to learn those notes, right? And when you're learning them, you suck, because your fingers are learning and you're going, right? So that's what we're doing now. We're training your brain to play the objective to make sense. So this is not about being believable. This is about ironing the objective into your brain. So all I want you to do is I want you to start thinking in your brain to make sense of this, to make sense of this. And the key to playing an objective effectively, and this part is really important, is the word try. That you don't actually accomplish it. We see you trying to accomplish it. Because once you accomplish it, you'll have nothing to do.
Right.
It's sort of like, you have a pet at home?
Yeah, too many.
What do you?
Dogs, 2 cats.
Okay. So if you had a bone and you tied a string around it and you ran in front of your dog's thinking, get the bone, get the bone, get the bone, get the bone, right? Now, once he gets the bone, scene's over. So either scene's over or we got to change our objective, because we can't be thinking to get the bone because he already has it. Is it a he or she?
It's a she.
She's already got it. So then that's new information that can cause our objective to change. So now it may change to something like to savor it, you know, or to not swallow it whole.
Yeah.
Or, you know, whatever that new objective would be. So unless there's new information that comes along, we don't change our objective. We just see you always trying to get it. So what I want to see you do is try to make sense of it.
Okay.
Don't make sense of it. Try to. So when I say Beth, and I see you going, try to make sense. What? I'm trying to make sense. What now, Shrevey? What? I just want to do my crossword. I'm trying to make sense of this. Come here. I'm doing my I'm trying to make sense, to make sense, to make sense. What does he want now? Doesn't he understand me? Doesn't he understand that I just want to relax and do my crossword? Why is he bothering me? What does he want? It's like trying to make sense of your marriage. Trying to make sense of how am I going to get out of this? Trying to make sense of am I going to be okay alone when I leave him? Whatever. Make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I want you to start thinking in your brain to make sense of this. And that's all you're going to be thinking when we run this part of the scene, to make sense of this while you're talking and while I'm talking. All you're thinking is try to make sense, 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 to make sense. If you feel like you're suddenly on track with I'm trying to make sense and you feel like you don't need to think the words anymore, just write it out and go with it then. Make sense?